You have found the other side, real stories of transformation, the podcast where we dive deep into the journeys of real people who've transformed themselves and their life from their biggest struggles to their greatest victories. They've made their mess their message. And today we've got an absolutely amazing story of just 4 months and 40 pounds of weight loss. And our client Gina is going to drop all the gold you're looking to hear about and how she did it, because she didn't use magic pills. She didn't use endless hours of cardio, and she made sure to make it a lifestyle that fit for her. What does that look like? Stick around and find out from Gina herself in today's episode.
If anyone wants to change their life, if anyone wants to live longer, be healthier, this is the way to do it.
So I get to sit here today with Gina Brytowski. We've talked a lot about Gina being from the United States. Today we're going to find out exactly where in the United States she's at right now and how come, we're able to get together online like this and change a life. And we're talking about telling stories. I'm super excited for you, for me, and everybody else to get to hear Gina's story. I've heard parts of it along the way of our journey as I learn more about her. But I'm looking forward to maybe even hearing things I haven't heard before. So this is super cool. And thank you, Gina, for getting to, being willing to sit down and do this with me. For all the listeners out there and for anyone who needs to hear your story, because I know that stories are probably the most powerful thing we can share. And it's as true and honest as it is. You know what I mean? It's real. It's real life. So
everyone loves a good story.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself and the story and kind of where it began. And of course, we know your name now, but what part of the United States are you living in and where does it all begin?
I am in the Adirondacks of New York. It's upstate. Like, I didn't realize that New York State could look like this because you only hear of New York City. But honestly, it's a mountain. It's just trees and 300 people. That's the town I live in. So
okay,
it's not the big hustle bustle city. We don't do that.
All right. Cool. I always try to picture where you're living. I'm like, I don't even know. It's hard to picture when someone's on the other side of a video screen. So that's good.
It's just very green here until it's winter, and then it's very white.
So that's where you're at now. Where does the journey all begin for you? Were you born and raised in the United States? Were you from Canada, or where are you at?
Yeah, definitely not from Canada. Man, wish I was. Born and raised in the U.S. I was actually born in Florida, but we left when I was a baby, which is probably great because I can get a sunburn in the shade, honestly. So probably not best to live in Florida. And then after I had a heart attack in February of 2019 at 44, which is kind of young to have that, I decided to travel. So I built out a school bus and I traveled the United States and Canada, a little bit of Canada, only Alberta, for 5.5-ish years. Didn't really get healthy, though that was the plan. I got more emotionally mental healthy in that time than I did physically. That still escaped me. So,
Okay.
But the ultimate reason that I'm here with you is because I had a heart attack and I don't want to die. So it was very important to figure out how to get healthy.
So you say you're 44 when you had the heart attattack?
Yes, I am
Excellent.
50 now.
Wow. And so a lot of people out there listening probably have dealt with health issues before. And you said you were maybe intending to get healthy before that had happened, but it never happened. And then
it's always I'll start that tomorrow. And, years later, tomorrow never comes. And then you're in the hospital because you had a heart attack.
Right. And so that health scare obviously put things in perspective for you. And I know things about you that the viewers and listeners don't know yet, but your dogs are probably one of the most important things in your life. So
yes, they are my whole wide world. Finnegan and May. Finnegan I've had since he was 4 weeks old. He is literally my child. He's 10 now. And May is 4, and we adopted her in February of 2024. And she's fantastic. But I do everything I do for them. My biggest fear was always that I would die while we were traveling, like in the bus, and they would have nobody. They'd just be trapped in there with me, because
right.
you travel alone, and I don't check in with my family every day, so there's some time that they'd be unattended. And I honestly worried about it every single day. It was crazy. I worried about dying every single day because I did almost die when I had the heart attack. I didn't realize I was having a heart attack. So I was having it for 3 days. And then I went to the hospital because I started drooling on myself, and I was profusely sweating in February, which seemed excessive, like because it's
Right.
cold out. Because I lived on the East Coast where it's cold. And so I finally went to the hospital and they were like, yeah, you're having a heart attack. And apparently you have been for 3 days now. So kudos on coming in, because I would have
Wow.
died had I not. So
So
I always have that in the back of my head.
who took care of the dogs while you were in the hospital for 3 days? How'd that work?
Miraculously, my brother and his
Okay.
fiance at the time.
Okay.
And it was just Finnegan at the time. And I had never been away from him at all. I had had a hysterectomy, but I didn't even stay overnight. Like they wanted me to stay overnight, and I was like, no, because my dog wouldn't understand why I didn't come home. I can't do that.
Right.
So I just had same day surgery for a hysterectomy because I was like, no, my dog needs me.
Right.
So I was in the hospital for 3 days, and my brother actually watched him, and his wife would FaceTime me with Finnegan, like, because I was a wreck, like in the hospital,
Okay.
and I kept trying to leave the hospital, and they were like, "You cannot, like, you've had a heart attack," and I was like, "But my dog." So it wasn't great. And honestly, when I was having the heart attack, I was engaged at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I just remember they're like, "You're having a heart attack," and love. I mean, in my brain, everyone dies, right, when you have a heart attack. I didn't know jack about heart attacks at that point,
Right.
and I just remember looking at him, and not like I didn't say anything about his daughter, him, our relationship, the bank information, nothing. I was just like, make sure Finnegan knows I didn't leave him.
Yeah, right.
Get a hold of my mother. My mother needs to take Finnegan. No, not like let my family know I'm having a heart attack. Just take care of my dog.
Your health was related
number
straight up
one.
to the for your dog.
That's all I cared about was it. So everything I do these days is, so the dogs have a mom.
Right. Yeah. That puts it in perspective for sure. And obviously, that, like you say, a health scare of that degree, that's where a lot of people get woken up and say, okay, it's time to take care of myself. But you had a really good reason why, too, is that you realized your dogs were a big driver. So, how do you go from where you were in some hospital bed, recovering from heart attack or however that went, to finding us and moving into your next steps?
Well, that was a long process because that I found you like 5 years after the heart attack. Uh,
Okay.
Immediately after the heart attack, I tried really hard. I would say the first 6 months, like really hard to be super healthy. The doctors all said like you can't have more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium. So for the first time in my life, I was reading labels. Which, if you've never read a label, I suggest you do so, especially if you live in the United States.
Mhm.
Because there is a very big difference as someone who's been to both countries in what's in food in each
Okay.
country. But in the US, everything has sodium. Everything, like the chicken even has sodium. Like when you buy fresh chicken breast, because they pump it full of saline solution so they can sell it for more weight. And like you don't know this stuff obviously
Mhm.
in everyday life if you don't have to. If you're generally healthy and you don't have to look at labels, you wouldn't know that. But because I had a heart attack, I wanted to know everything because that's the kind of person I am. Like, okay, I have to fix this and I have to have all the information, but that also leads to information overload, which is kind of what happened. Because for 6 months, I tried really hard to like stay under 1,500 milligrams of sodium and only eat healthy foods, but I didn't even understand what a healthy food was at that point.
Right.
So just trying to get information, yeah, and people, oh, the internet. Yeah, the internet's great. It has a ton of information. 99% of it is inaccurate, or you're not sure it's accurate because you got, like, who do you ask? Like, what I mean?
Yeah.
So the internet, you can find exactly what you want to find. Doesn't mean it's right, but you can find exactly what you want to find. And that was my big problem. So after 6 months, I wouldn't say like I gave up, but like I was so overwhelmed by everything that I just kind of stopped paying attention. And slowly over time, because like my mom, right after my heart attack, my mom got diagnosed with stage 4 inoperable cancer. They
Okay.
gave her 6 to 18 months to live. She only made it 5. And so in that time, I was dealing with her dying. I decided to buy the bus, which I bought before she got diagnosed. And her and my stepdad were going to help me gut it and build it out. And then she got diagnosed. And then that was her big dream for me. Even while she was dying, that was her big dream for me to just go and live my life and not do for everybody else, and finally not work 80 hours a week and just do something for me. So then it became extra important because she wanted me to do it and she was dying. So I had to do it. And I had to do it before she died. So then I had to
Mhm.
hire someone to build out the bus because I can't build the step stool. That's not going to happen,
Right.
much less
Right.
a whole place to live in. So then I had to work to pay for that. I wanted to see my mother as much as possible because she was dying. So there was all of that. So like the health thing just kind of like on the wayside. And it wasn't like I actively decided I don't have time for this right now. I just stopped doing a lot of it or paying attention to it because I had so many other things. Like I went from working like 80 hours a week to 100 hours a week just on stuff. I worked from home. So I was just constantly, if I was awake, I was either with my mother or I was working.
Right.
That was it. I wasn't thinking about eating or what I should be eating or that's bad for you or that salt's terrible or we shouldn't grab McDonald's. Like,
right.
I didn't have any of that. And I should have, but in that moment I couldn't. So finally, and she passed away November 17th of 2019. I moved into the bus November 11th. And the whole point was she had to know before she died that I did it. I did this thing and I'm moving into it. Like I left my ex, the whole nine. Like she had to know that I was doing the things she wanted me to do.
Right.
And then she passed away. And I think it was like 3 weeks after that, I left.
Okay.
Like I had never really left the East Coast. I got in the bus and just drove west. I was literally like just west. That's the direction we headed.
Yeah.
Because that's where like all the nomadic people that I had met online, that's where they all go in the winter. And it was now winter. So that's where I was going. But in my rush to get things done, I wasn't paying attention to my health. And I didn't pay attention to the mechanics of the bus at all. So we broke down a lot, just me and Finnegan, between Connecticut, which is the way east coast of the United States, and Cali, which is the way west coast. And there's a lot of ground to cover there, and you can break down a lot. And I know because I did, like a lot.
Real stories, baby.
It was a crazy time, and honestly, now I could never do what I did then. I look back and I don't know who that person was. Like I was determined and I was gonna do this thing because I broke down so many times. Like everyone I've talked to and told this story to has said to me, I would have given up. Like I would have been like this and turned around and just like gone home. Like, and you were like, no, and then did it for 5 more years. Like,
wow.
Because I broke down a lot with the bus because I had no idea what I was doing. I'm not a mechanic.
Right.
I can't fix anything. Like realistically, if there's a light on, I'm like, hey, does anyone know what this light means? Like, I don't know.
Right.
So I was just like, we'll keep going till the wheels fall off. Like that was,
ride it out.
and that's kind of what I did, like for 5 years. But in that time, I was only moderately paying attention to my health because there was a lot changing in my life at that time. I was meeting new people. I was doing new things. I lived in a bus, for God's sake. Like, just it was a very different life, and I was adjusting to all of that. Like just not working 80 to 100 hours a week. That alone was like, this is wild. Like, I don't know what's happening.
Right.
And plus COVID had happened during that time. So there wasn't a lot going on that you could go places and do things. And even going to the doctors was a nightmare during COVID because I had to see a couple cardiologists during that time. And just the protocol to go to, I don't know how it was in Canada because I was not in Canada during the height of it, obviously.
Right.
But in the US, like you had to like wear a mask. Your appointment was like a month, 2 months out. Even if it was like an emergency appointment, it was like 2 months out. The questions they asked you when you got there were just wild. Like, how many people have you been interacting with? And honestly, none. Like living in the bus was the best for an introvert like myself, because I would just go into town every 2 weeks and get water and food and go back to the desert or forest. Like that's fine. We don't need to see anybody. And a lot of people actually on the West Coast, I don't know so much of the East, we're doing it. Like we're living that life because most travelers couldn't leave the country and they used to leave the country.
Right.
So now they're like, well, let's build a van and, you know, travel the United States because that's all we can do.
Yeah.
And in that time, a couple of times I did try to kind of research health a little, and then it would get really overwhelming. And if you've ever tried, I mean, most people have heard your story. There's, unless you really double down and have a general idea, you at least had some concept of nutrition and health before your situation. Yeah. I never had that. Like the best like nutrition advice I ever got from like family growing up was at my dad and stepmom's house. We weren't allowed to have soda. Okay. That was it. That was, you know, it just wasn't really, and like we weren't allowed to have fast food because it was 5 of us at that house because I had 2 stepsisters, and they couldn't afford it. It wasn't because that's not good for you. Like no one ever said that. It was just like, we are poor and
We
we
don't
cannot
have
take
it.
5 of you to go to McDonald's.
Right.
So, there was no health talks growing up in either of my households because my parents were divorced. So like it just never, no one talked about health.
Right.
So I don't know. And then I had this heart attack. And the weird part is that the year before I had my heart attack, my younger cousin, even younger than I was, I think he was like in his late 30s, had a heart attack and died. And he was a bigger kid. He made all the good food for the cookout, like,
right.
so,
Yeah.
and by good, I mean the stuff we like to eat,
Right. Yeah.
and he died. And so after my heart attack, even now, for years, I'm like, how come I didn't die? Like he lived, he could have lived, and I could, like, what made that decision? So that's a weird thing that happens now when you almost die.
Right.
You feel bad about living, which is weird.
Yeah, you get a survivor's guilt kind of thing.
Yeah, but like that was like my family. Like we didn't have healthy talks.
Okay.
Like these things happened, and
Right.
still no one had healthy talks. No one was like, "Ooh, we should all maybe pay attention to our health." And no, nobody talked about that. And now looking back, now that I know what healthy stuff is, I find it weird.
Right.
That like that he was very young, and still even after I had my heart attack, the same family still did not have any sort of discussions about, maybe we should be healthier. And I'm kind of like, looking back, I wonder, all right, I guess no one's making, putting 2 and 2 together.
Connecting those dots. Yeah.
Like clearly we eat like crap, and like we get really excited for the crap food. We're dropping like flies, but like nobody's like, hey, maybe, but whatever.
Right.
So like it's hard. It's overwhelming. And all that time that I was traveling, I had other distractions. Obviously you're traveling, for God's sake. It's very exciting. And you got to remember, you got to get water and things like that, or you're not drinking and showering. And, so nomad life was hectic. And I didn't think about my health as much as I thought I would. Cause I really did. Like when I started traveling, be like, I'll have all this time to like do the research, and like, no, I did not.
Right.
And even if I did, I wasn't making the time to do it. It was just a little thought in the back of my mind that every once in a while I'd be eating some Doritos and feel guilty about it. Like that was pretty much it. And then finally I ended up staying in New York because I used to come here in the summer. I have a friend up here who has property and all that. And I would work at the grocery store in the summers to just have money to keep traveling.
Okay.
And this last time that I came up in 2024, what happened was the bus broke down again. And I say again because I had just spent like $4,000 on like new thermostats and a new water pump and a bunch of stuff that I don't understand.
Right.
And then I was getting ready to, where was I going? I think I was going to go to Canada.
Okay.
I think I was going to go to Canada again to see Bajanelle. And I was preparing. I was at my friend's property in Arizona. And it was the day I was leaving. I went and got gas. And then I was like, why are we overheating? There's a lot of overheat. What is happening right now? And I had to drive back to my friend's property. And it turns out I needed a new radiator. And I was like, that's it. I am so over everything right now because I had just spent so much money.
Right.
And like I was tapped out at that point. I was like, I can't even get to Canada at this point. So my dad helped me out, and I rented a car and threw the dogs, obviously, and anything else I thought I might need for the summer. I had to come out here and work again at the grocery store to save the money to fix the bus and all that. I did end up fixing the bus. Like I sent money to my friend whose property it's on. It's still sitting there. So if anyone wants to buy a bus, I know where there is one. And when I ended up staying here because I had a health scare in the fall of 2024. I had a lump right here, and they didn't know what it was. And my mom died of cancer. So needless to say, I think we all know where my brain went. And I definitely melted down and freaked out because who wouldn't?
Yeah.
It turns out it's a Wharton's tumor. I always want to say Werther's like the candy, but it's a Wharton's tumor. And they're completely benign. But they wanted to remove it anyway, just because, it's a little lump. And I was like, you know what? Both tests you just did were inconclusive, like to find out exactly what it was. And
right.
I'm not feeling comfortable because they also told me like if they nick a nerve accidentally, like I could just have like face wouldn't work.
Right. Some sort of paralysis.
Yeah, they call it a name or something. And I was like, yeah, I don't want that. I have enough problems. So it's just a tiny little lump and we'll leave it alone. That's perfectly fine. So we didn't get that taken care of. But since I was here and I ended up staying, because it was well into December that we figured that. And I was like, well, I'm here now. It's winter.
Right.
Who's going to leave? And then in March, end of March, beginning of April, I started having really bad teeth problems. Like, and if
Okay.
you've ever had a toothache, it's the worst. Like, I've had a hysterectomy, a heart attack. I would do those over 10 times. The pain for that over this. Like, that
Over
was.
teeth.
And so I went to the dentist, please take this out. And their complaint was my blood pressure was really high. And I'm like, duh, I'm in pain and I have an infection. Duh.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I was kind of annoyed that everyone was like, oh, but your blood pressure. And I was like, no kidding. And then finally, like, they got it down enough and the infection down enough to take out the tooth, but it was still high. Well, now the tooth is out. It's like a month after that. And my blood pressure is still ridiculously high. I mean, like 170 over like 90 kind of thing. And which is just ridiculously high. And
Right.
I'm on a blood pressure medication. I was on 2 at the time, actually. So that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, I have high blood pressure and I'm on medication. And it
Mhm.
started to really freak me out. So for about a month, I tried really hard to Google and figure out, okay, how do I eat less salt? And I just started cutting out everything with salt, which, if you've read a label, is literally everything. Like, if
Right.
I would just be screaming in the middle of the store that I work at, which thank God they all know me,
Yeah.
because I just like pick up, I don't know, fruit or something. I don't even can't even remember. And there was sodium in it. And I was like, like, because it's just frustrating. Or
Right.
even, I notice now, and it's not a big deal now, but like yogurt
Mhm.
has sodium in it. You know what I mean? Things,
Yeah.
but like when you don't know any better and all they're telling you is to avoid salt and there is salt in everything, you
Right.
suddenly feel like a crazy person who doesn't know how to feed herself at 50 years old.
Right.
And it breaks you a little bit.
Mhm.
And I was so afraid of dying because I had already had the heart attack. I almost died once. And now here's my blood pressure with medication not being under control. And that's what caused my first heart attack, because they gave me blood pressure medicine back then and I thought it wasn't a big deal, so I didn't take it.
Oh.
My bad. I didn't realize it was that big of a deal, and no one impressed upon me the importance of blood pressure. They were just like, your blood pressure's kind of high. You should probably take these. And I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, I didn't realize it wasn't a suggestion. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's my bad. But knowing that now and seeing that I'm on 2 medications, it's not coming down. That's definitely what caused your heart attack. I was freaking all the way out because can't leave the dogs without a mom. Like,
Right.
that was my big thing. I honestly cried a lot. Like, just went to bed crying because I didn't know how to fix it and I didn't want to die. I have a lot of stuff to do and I didn't want to leave them.
Mhm.
And then I remembered the end of April. Yeah, it was the end of April. I remembered Pam. And she's someone that I've known since 2000. I think it was 2000.
2000.
Because we did 3D work together. So like, that's how long I've been doing it. And that's when I met her. And, not like super close, but we've known each other, talked about work and, all of this stuff for years and years and years. And she always, for, I don't know, at that time, 5, 6, 7 years, has been posting about workouts that she's done and this coach that she's always excited about. And she does this and she eats this. And I'm like, Pam's kind of healthy. I'm like, let me just,
Kind of healthy.
well,
Start there.
at that point, like, I wasn't even sure. I was just like, she talks about health in
Yes.
some kind of good way. So let me just reach out to Pam and see what Pam has to say. And she was like, oh, you have to call my guy. And I was like, all right, I guess, like, that's fine, whatever. I'm desperate. And I reached out to you the last day of April. And I think our first session or just meeting to figure out if this would work was May 1st.
Okay.
And that's the first time we talked was May 1st. And you were like, yeah, let's do this. And I was
Yeah.
like, but you don't know me. And this is a mess. This is a hot mess right here.
Yeah.
And we started, and like that day we started, and you were just like, yeah, we can do this. And you made everything very easy to understand. And that was important. Like, do this, don't do this. That it was all very black and white like that.
Yeah.
And being as overwhelmed as I was with all the information that's out there and not necessarily accurate, it was very nice just to be like, do this, don't do this. And that's all I had to focus on. Okay, this week, all you do is drink water.
Yeah.
It seems like a trap. Like, it seems way too easy. What? And honestly, that's all I did for the first week was because I didn't drink water. When I first met you, I didn't drink water. I drank SodaStream Diet Pepsi because I had just come off being addicted for 20 plus years to Diet Coke, with the aspartame. And while I was in Canada, oddly enough, in 2023, that summer, the World Health Organization came out and declared aspartame a cancer-causing agent, which logically I already knew. Like, we all knew that. But once they said it, with my mom dying from cancer, like, my brain could no longer be like justifying this situation. Like, there was,
Right.
like, they've said it out loud now, and you can no longer deny that this is a thing that is bad for you. And wake up, dumbass, your mom died. You know what I mean? Like, so I went and bought a SodaStream and started doing the Diet Pepsi
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
Because that did not have aspartame.
Okay.
I triple checked like 8 ways from Sunday. It did not have aspartame. So that was what I was drinking from. All I was drinking was coffee and that from 2023 until I met you. And
Right.
now it's 4 months. Yeah, 4 months, because it's the beginning of September. And all I drink is water. And my smoothie, obviously, in the morning. But all I drink is water. I still have the SodaStream. I still have carb CO2 for the soda. I still have the Diet Pepsi syrup. I don't drink it.
It's
like,
there,
I
but you
have
don't.
it still in the fridge. I do have the syrup in it, because where else am I going to put it? It's going to go bad. And I feel like I can't throw it away yet, just because I spent money on it. But like, everything's put away for the most part. Like, you have these special bottles that you put the water in so you can do the fizzy stuff.
Right.
They're not even with water in the fridge, like, because it has to be cold. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, I spent money on the thing, and I should probably keep it for a while. Like, just in case I want bubbly water. But yeah, I still have all this stuff. I just don't drink it. That's what I do.
By choice.
Yeah, and that was a choice. Like, you never said like you can only drink water. You're just like, you have to drink more of it. Like,
Yeah.
Like, more than 0 would be great. Like,
we could start there.
That's what I did. I just drank more than 0.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking it was a big win just to get like 60 ounces of water in for the day. And now my goal is always, 85 or more, which I generally hit every day. Some days it's only 75. And that's, not including, we've talked about, like, there's water and food, like, not including that, but just what I can record that I drank. Like, the least amount I drink is 75 ounces of water a day, which anyone who knew me before 4 months ago was like, no, absolutely not. No. Because honestly, like, I was like, water? No, I can't. It gives me heartburn. Like, I would literally tell people that. They'd be like, you should drink more water. No, it gives me heartburn. I can't drink more.
Yeah. You're linking up other things.
I'm pretty sure the heartburn was definitely because I was never drinking water, and my body was like, what the hell is this? I don't think it was actually giving me heartburn. I think my body was just like reacting to having something healthy, and I didn't know what to do with it, like, for a while, because I would drink some water at some point in my life and get heartburn. Like, I would just have heartburn. So it wasn't like I was lying. It's just the reasons were probably because my body was like, give me more.
Yeah. Right. So as you were going through the early stages of the journey, you started learning about a little bit about diet, obviously, in our level 1 coaching and diet.
Well, that was the first thing you said. Why do you want to do this? Or why do you want me to help you with this or whatever? And I was like, because I don't want to die. That was honestly like, and it wasn't, I imagine the normal answer. Like, I imagine the normal answer is like, I want to look good in a bathing suit, or I want to, do this or be stronger. I just didn't want to die at that point. Obviously, my goals have shifted a little because I'm not dying. Like, it's very clear I'm not dying. So my goals have shifted for what I want out of this. But the number one reason is still, and always will be, to be healthy, to be able to move, to be able to breathe when I clip my toenails, which is a huge thing that happened recently.
Big
like,
win.
I didn't have to like, okay. And then like try and get my foot up or bend in a weird position and hold my breath. Like, I just clipped my toenails like a normal human being. Like, so, because since we've started this, I've lost 42 pounds. So
42.
Yeah. Nothing in the last 2 weeks, but that's probably my own fault. I'm sure.
It's an amazing journey. It takes time and the body's adaptations along the way, but it's been about 4 months so far that we've been together. Yeah.
Yep.
4 months. So 42 pounds.
The first one, so.
Yeah. Awesome. And with the dieting approach to the way that we've been doing things, I'd love to hear your background on diet, because I know you went through a lot of stuff early on. We haven't discussed yet. What did that look like?
Well, growing up, we didn't talk about health, but weight was a big factor in my household. And that would be because I was the only child built like my father. Like I had a brother and sister. I still have a brother and sister. Like, when they were built more like my mom, who was very tall, very thin, like just naturally. That's how they're built. I was built like my dad, who is short and rounder. Like it just, and that does play a little into it. Yes, you can reshape your body with exercise and health, but I didn't know that at 12. But all I knew is that I wasn't shaped like everybody else who I lived in the same house with. And that was a big problem for my mom. Like it really bothered my mom. So I was on a diet from the time I was 12 until I moved out at 17, which is only 5 years, but as a child, it feels like forever to just eat. And it wasn't like the diet I have now, which is just the way I eat, which is just healthy, whole foods that I understand. It was an actual diet, like the 3-day cabbage soup diet. Although, no, I think the cabbage soup diet's a week, and then there's a 3-day diet that's separate than that they claim is like the military uses or some crap. I don't know where that came from. But yeah, that was sold to me that way. Like somehow I cared at 12 that that's what the military uses. But,
top secret.
Yeah, I ate a lot of things that were absolutely horrendous, but they were supposed to be for weight loss growing up, because that was, my mom didn't want me to be a fat kid.
Right.
And I get why she didn't, like going back with my adult brain, like realizing it was because she didn't want me to be teased and picked on in school. And, it wasn't because she hated me.
Right.
But it did. I don't know if I realized I was fat until she told me I was fat and needed to be on a diet. You know what I mean? Like and I look back at some of those pictures and I'm like, I don't think I was fat. Like I wasn't technically. I was just bigger than my brother and sister.
Right.
Because I had a different shape, basically. Like I was shaped more like my dad. They were shaped like my mom. And it wasn't necessarily that I was fat, because I have looked back at some of the pictures and been like, that was not fat. that was just not because my sister and brother were like this their whole childhood.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, now they're older and they've gained some weight. But that's because, their metabolism has changed. But also because we were never taught to eat correctly. They've just always been able to eat whatever they wanted and never had a problem, because they have a different makeup than I do. I have my dad's makeup and they have my mom's makeup, and that's just what it is.
Right.
But they never had to think about it before. So they're unaware that they could get fat until they did. And then I was like, well, that sucks for you. But welcome to the club. But yeah, I was on a diet a lot. I was constantly aware of my weight and how much I weighed, and being on the scale more times than I care to think about. So the scale and me don't have a great relationship, which we're working on. We talk about it every week. And I'm actively trying to work on it not being a negative thing, but I'm still at the stage where if I get on the scale and I've gained a pound, I don't even look at it long enough to get to the part where it says, what I've gained, muscle or anything like that. Because I have that scale that tells you all that stuff.
Yeah.
All I know is that number has changed, and it immediately ruins my whole day. Like it does not matter how many times I hear from other people, from you, that number doesn't matter. It's the little numbers underneath it. And even if those change, it's fine, because we just adjust things and fix. It's not like the end of the world. Logically, I know all of that, and I'm fine with all of that logically. But the second I let my guard down for half a second and let emotion in, it wrecks everything, because of what a big deal it was to be overweight when I was younger. Because it was a big deal to be overweight when I was younger. It was definitely a marker of your worth at many points. And again, not blaming my mom. She didn't know any better. She just didn't want me to be picked on. Yeah. But no one else ate healthy, so it's not like she was withholding health information. You know what I mean?
Right.
When she started gaining weight when she hit a certain age, because your metabolism changes and all that, she just started doing things like Nutrisystem and Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers, and she did them the rest of her life until she got cancer and passed away. She was on one diet or another every single day for her whole life. I can remember my nieces and nephews being little and be like, we don't want to go to Nana. She has crappy food. Because she always had Weight Watchers or, the different things. And the kids didn't want to go because she had terrible
not
food.
A treat in sight.
Yes, they didn't like it at all. And she'd get bummed. And I'm like, well, they're not wrong. No one wants to eat what you eat. And, it wasn't regular food. With us, I just buy regular food, and it's how I consume it that matters.
Mm-hmm.
She would literally buy things that were labeled like the Weight Watcher bread and the,
Oh, okay. Right.
like that
Branded.
sort of thing. So it's,
Yeah.
sure, it's probably fine, but it's not just regular food you can buy in the store. You have to specifically go to a certain store to find those things.
Right.
And that was never sustainable to me either, because my budget goes like this all the time. So I can't afford to buy name brand stuff all the time. It has to sometimes be very generic, and let's just make that work, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So there were a lot of things that I wish she had taught me growing up, but sadly, the one thing she did taught me was to be afraid of the scale. So
Right.
that's
Yeah.
where we are still today, but we're just getting a little better about it. Like, I do spend more time like looking at my body as opposed to thinking about the scale. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if I feel like I need to look at, because like my body shape has changed, and like it's still semi-round at this point, but not quite as much, and I can see different things that I couldn't see before, and I kind of tend to focus on those when I'm having a I might be fat day.
Right.
And realize that, hey, you've made a lot of changes. This is just, you know, like, because logically I know there's going to be rough spots or like hard patches where I don't lose anything, or I maybe gain something, whatever, because life is life, and
Yeah.
things happen and my body changes, and also I'm a woman, so weird shit happens all the time. And I think we all know this if you've done any sort of health research at all. And I know you've done tons, because
Yeah.
you know more about my shit than I do, which is always crazy to me, because you do that extra research for everybody, like not just men, not just women, like, you know, a lot of stuff that you don't even need to know because you're a man, but you know it because you want to help your female clients, which
Yeah.
we all appreciate. So I know logically that looking at my body is a better measurement, I guess, of how far I've come and what I'm doing. Whereas that 1 pound that I might go up on the scale could ruin like my mindset for everything I just saw. So
Yes.
we don't play with the scale that much until we dump some of the unnecessary trauma from my childhood, which
There
we're
you go.
slowly working on. We are, but it takes me a little time to get to places. Once I get there, though, it's all in the past and we're done. But like, we just got to get there.
Mhm. That's awesome. Yeah, having gone through that relationship with the scale and working on it now, there's a lot of people out there obviously struggling with weight and wanting to lose body fat and things like that. And then, you know, going through our first level one is mostly about nutrition. There's a few extra things in there that you notice that were some of the things we wanted to improve on, like good quality sleep and things like that. So, how has your life changed from even just that first level one course before you even started with all the exercise stuff? Because I know you've taken a real passion to that too.
Oh, I do really love it.
But yeah, how has the overall life changed from where you were to where you were after losing that, 40 pounds?
It's huge, which sounds like everyone says that. You know what I mean? Like, so it sounds cliche. That's the word I'm looking for. But it is really a big, huge change. It's like mindset wise, not even like mobility wise, because that's a whole other thing. Like, you
Hmm.
know, not being out of breath, having more energy. Those are very important, exciting things. But mindset wise, like, I know what to eat now. I can actually, like, I was very excited the other day because I was out and unprepared for an errand day, as I often do, because that's who I am as a person. And instead of just starving until I got some like home where I could eat what I know is fine and exactly every ingredient, because I'm also a perfectionist, which does not help this at all, even a little. Or going the opposite way and getting like McDonald's or something absolutely horrendous. I finally was like, I was at my job, which I work in a deli, and we have chicken salad. I made the chicken salad. I know
Hmm.
what's in the chicken salad. I know I made it low sodium. I know that okay, we use Hellman's because we all use Hellman's for everything. And
Right?
that's kind of high fat, but I know that. And I know what's in it, you know, like as far as spices, and it's very little salt. So just give me that on a low carb wrap. That's what we're doing today, because I still have 2 hours worth of errands and I'm going to get a headache. I'm going to feel like crap. This is not perfect as far as like a lunch would go, but it's better than if I just grabbed like a greasy burger from God
Yeah.
knows where with
Right.
some greasy French fries with trans fats everywhere. So
Yeah.
at least that was, and 4 months ago, I couldn't have done that. I would be like, no, I can't do that. What are you, out of your mind? Like, I would rather starve. But I also have learned in this process that starving is probably worse than eating the crap, honestly. Like,
The
that's
side
the worst
effects.
part of it, because you're getting nothing. Like, you're
Yeah.
breaking all the things you just fixed, basically,
Hmm.
by starving yourself. So logically knowing that, I was like, what's the best case scenario I can do right now? And I would not have been able to do that in the beginning, because I would have felt like I failed at everything. And in the beginning might have just been like, this is not for me. I can't do this because I'm a loser, whatever, like whatever I was telling myself that day. But now, like, even if I have an extra snack, like sometimes, which is not even a real snack at this point, like it's Greek yogurt and peanut butter powder and blueberries. Like, but really, like that's the worst you're doing to yourself. But I still get mad at myself if I have an extra snack. But it never occurs to me to quit, to not do this, to not, like, when I look at my future, there's no part of that vision that doesn't include eating right. And that all started because that's where we started. And that was my biggest thing that I couldn't get a hold of. Sure, the exercise and stuff, which is nothing I've ever done, was great. But immediately the first thing I need to worry about was how do I feed myself? Like, because I'm 50 and I should know this already. But I didn't. I really had no idea, because anything that I thought was healthy was not.
That's it.
As it turns out, it was not. Shocking, but true. And now, like, I know a lot more things. I know what I can eat, what would be good for me, what I can kind of replace with this if I don't like this, or if we don't have this, because I also live in a very what's the word, like, isolated kind of place. We do have a grocery store, which a lot of the towns around here don't, so they all come to this one, which is great. But it's like a small town grocery store, so we don't have everything you'll get at your Walmart, Hannaford, Kroger, whatever. Co-op. I'm trying to remember what's in Canada, like stores and stuff. But I think the only place I shopped was the Co-op. So yeah. Like, but like, they don't have quite as many brands. Like, a lot of these brands were like, they don't even sell that in another store.
Right.
So I have to substitute a lot of times, because we don't have specifically, like, we didn't have low carb tortillas until I was like, I went to the owner of the store and was like, listen, I don't want to have to drive an hour to Walmart just to get low carb tortillas.
Yeah.
Can you work with me here? And he was like, yeah, let me talk to the bread guy. And now we have low carb tortillas because Gina asked for it. You know what I mean? So like, I'm even helping there, but most of the time we don't have those things. So we have to make do without. And because I have you and 4 months of nutrition information, I can actually make those choices and not, like, in the beginning, I can remember being at Walmart and being like, I hope he's not busy, but excuse me. And like, just sending you pictures of things on the shelf and like, help, what do I buy?
Yeah.
And honestly, I cannot complain. Within 5 to 10 minutes every time, you would reply and tell me what to buy. Like, so that was very helpful. But I mean, now you're kind of off the hook for that. You don't have to do that every time I go.
It becomes less for me and more for you. Yeah, it comes with your knowledge, right?
So that's been a huge change, is that I can feed myself, and that matters more. Like, for someone who was worried about dying every second of every day, that's a big deal to me. Like, because I don't worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, sure, it was a huge trauma for me. It definitely comes up, I would say, at least once a week. It's still like the memory of it, the fear of it, especially like if I have even the day of the chicken salad, it was the slightest like off. I did have a moment where I was like, don't slip. Even though logically I knew it was just because I was out. I don't even want crappy food.
Right.
But I worry that I'll slip, because I always have in the past. And that's the thing of it, right? Like, even though I'm making all these new huge changes, I constantly worry that I'll go back to the past, even though I have no desire to. Like, I walk past Doritos and my favorite chips every day. I work in a deli and we have like fried chicken and French fries out all day, like just in the hot case, free, welcome, have some. Like, just like before I was doing this, I would walk by every time and just grab a fry, like, thank you, fry. I know the other day I grabbed a fry because I hadn't had one in 4 months. I was like, I can have a fry. And as soon as I put it in my mouth, it was like a salt cube, and I just spit it back out. Oh, wow. I didn't even chew it. I was like, nah. I didn't, because in the moment I was like, I can do this. I didn't deserve that at all. That was horrible. I didn't want that at all.
It's like a punishment.
So I immediately spit it back out.
Wow.
But I've also learned my lesson, because there was the day that we had free pizza at work.
Yes.
That wasn't even it. Yeah, that was wild. And I was insistent that I had to have pizza. And I sent you a picture, and you even said, I don't think you want that pizza. And I was like, I want that pizza. And you were like, all right, I'll tell you how to track it. But I had heartburn for 2 days. and regrets, so many regrets. Like it was all regret. But you told me like that I wasn't going to be happy, but I had to learn for myself. And now I know we're not eating pizza. And then I made that pizza thing like that I found on Instagram or whatever that was like a healthy protein version of pizza with no crust kind of thing. And that was fine. Like
Yeah.
it was a little higher in sodium than I like, but I remember freaking out all day about the sodium and then looking
That's
at
right.
MyFitnessPal at the end of the day, and I was still under 1,500 milligrams of sodium. So,
Right. Yeah.
so like I was freaked, but I don't usually eat that much sodium in one meal. So I was like, oh my God, this is a lot of sodium.
Yeah.
But I was still under it. So like
Yeah.
it didn't matter. And it's things like that that have been a huge change. Like that I can eat things that are yummy and that I made, and I can figure out how to make them low calorie, high protein, not as much sodium, and be full and happy with what I ate, but not feel like crap afterwards because what I ate
Yeah.
was actually good for me,
Right.
even though it was yummy, which is
Hmm.
wild.
It's a
Sometimes.
different feel, isn't it? Yeah. It's like
It is. It is like if you get pizza out and you eat like the whole pizza or whatever, you just feel like,
yeah.
like I ate the whole pizza and now I just need to lay down and I don't want to do anything. I don't feel like that after I eat.
Hmm. It's like a
Although
guilt-free.
yesterday I felt a little lethargic after I ate all that. I sent you a picture of the spaghetti
Yeah.
that I made with the konjac noodles.
Yeah.
I was trying to use, like, I used the rest of the sauce and I used the rest of the turkey that I had because it was going to go off in like 2 days anyway because it was
Okay.
pre-done. And then I had some mozzarella cheese and I used the whole thing of noodles because I was like, well, these seem weird to store, so like
Right.
I didn't want to store them. And then halfway through, I was like, this might have been a lot for one meal, but it really wasn't that many calories or, that. So like, I could eat it in one meal and I was like, just finish it. Cause again, I thought this would be weird to store because the noodles are a little different. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
The konjac noodles.
Yeah.
So I just ate the whole thing. And then I was like, it was all healthy, but it was too much
You were
food.
full.
I was very full. And I immediately actually went for a walk because I was like, I am full to the point of pain, but it was
Yeah.
very good. Like,
Mhm.
honestly, like, and I was still full, but I didn't feel like, if you eat bad food, like a lot of it, how you feel. Like I can't explain it, but it's not great. It's
Yeah.
not good. I certainly wouldn't have gone for a walk. I mean, maybe to the bathroom. That's about
Yeah.
it. But like,
Yeah.
I still didn't feel bad. I just felt more full than usual. Because usually I just eat until I'm not hungry, and I'm like, we're good. Like just hold off, and we'll eat some more on the next meal. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I just didn't want to store that, so I didn't want to throw it away because that's my other thing.
Right.
Can't just throw away food. What are we made of money?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
So I ate it all and like kind of regretted it, but not if I had eaten, say, regular pasta with
Yeah.
regular sauce and like all the fixings. Like I would have died,
Right.
quite literally.
Yeah.
So there is a very different feeling to like eating all the good food once you learn what it is, and then continuing to eat crap. I don't miss anything.
Mhm.
I don't crave anything.
Wow.
Except Greek yogurt, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Chocolate raspberry Greek yogurt is my thing. It's wild. I never thought that would be me, but it is. And honestly, like that's my snack, like my guilty pleasure. And it's 15 grams of protein, for God's sake. Like there's like 2 added sugars, I think, and 15 grams of protein. Yeah, that's a guilty pleasure.
Right. Yeah.
So when I'm always like, oh, I had another snack, I had more protein is what I had.
Yeah, you know where to put
and it's 0 fat. Like, so I'm still mad at myself when I do it. I don't know what's wrong with me. But that's the stuff that I'm talking about. Like I eat healthier.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I feel bad about having an extra snack, what I had wasn't bad. It doesn't really matter. Like it's just that I didn't intend to have it, so I had it. So now I'm beating myself up. But it still wasn't bad.
Right.
I didn't eat McDonald's. I didn't eat a pint of ice cream. I
Yeah, you
literally
can
had a yogurt.
overeat good choices, things that you know are helping you, and you don't feel the guilt that comes with it, you know?
So it's more like, oh, you shouldn't have had that because it kind of went over your calories a little. But
Yeah.
also, like, I'm working out more. I'm just working out. Like, more is that's the word. I never did before. Like, when we were traveling, when we went to certain places, we would walk. Me and Finn, not so much May, because we didn't live in the bus very long after I had her. But we would walk, and like sometimes not consistently, we would walk up to 3 miles because it was just fun to do the walk with Finnegan because we'd be in a forest or the desert and you explore and all of that. But it wasn't consistent, and it's not like I was doing anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That 3-mile walk was like once a month.
Uh-huh.
If that wasn't consistent. So sure, I was doing some things that I didn't do, but I certainly wasn't what I would call exercising regularly. Like that wasn't happening. I wasn't even walking every day because he would just be on a lead that was attached inside the bus, actually to the steering wheel. Like it was inside the bus, and he would just be. It was a long lead, so he could just roam around outside the bus because we weren't parked like by a road or anything, and do his business. Like I didn't have to walk him, like because he was walking himself out there. Why did I have to walk him? You know what I mean?
Right.
And now, like we go for 2 walks every day. Me, him, and May. Like we go, and then plus I do the treadmill and either my band's workout or my TRX workout. Like that was non-existent in my life ever, as long as forever. Like I never did this. None of this.
Right.
Like not even walking consistently did I do regularly before this. This is all new.
That's amazing.
Very exciting.
For people who are hearing, the fact that you were living in a bus or going through something in a small area like that. Now you're in a home or an apartment or wherever you're at, living quarters. You still don't, after losing 40 pounds, you don't have a gym membership. You're not going to some big extensive club of where you have a ton of access to equipment. You're
and
not
I wouldn't.
taking.
I would not. I'm not that person. First of all, when I first started, I got the TRX and stuff. I don't know how long it was, but it was quite a while of you being like, yeah, we gotta like look at your movements and make sure you're doing it right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I would just put it off and put up. I can't do new things in front of people.
Yeah.
Like I have to be semi-comfortable before I'll do anything in front of someone else that I don't care who you are. It's just who I am. So going to a gym full of people right off the bat, to figure out how to work, no, like honestly, the thought of it terrifies me. I can't even. Plus, I live in the middle of nowhere, so I would have to drive an hour. That's mine. I would have to drive an hour to go to a gym. I'm not like as dedicated as I am to being healthy and stuff. I don't have that kind of time.
Right.
I just do not. I also work a full-time job. Like I have to play with them. I have other things I want to do. I'm trying to get the 3D thing back off the ground. That takes time. No way in hell am I driving an hour each way to a gym to get healthy. And not because I don't want to be healthy, but because I just don't have that time. It's not sustainable for me, which is something you preach on a regular basis. It has to be sustainable or you won't do it. I wouldn't do it. The TRX, it's here. The bands, it's on the door. It's here. Like it takes me 5 minutes to set up the bands, if that. And that's always set up, the TRX, always. So I just start doing it. If I had to drive an hour to do anything, I'm not doing it. Like they don't get groomed as often as they should because I have to drive an hour to do it. So instead of like every 6 weeks, they get groomed every 10 weeks because that's about the fucking momentum I have to drive an hour into the city because I also don't like the city.
Yeah.
So like, having to go to the city and then do things in front of people. What are you, out of your mind? No, I'm not doing that.
Right.
So no, I don't have a gym membership and nor will I ever.
Yeah.
I honestly have occasionally been scrolling Instagram and saw like a kind of a cool machine I've never seen before. And like, oh, that would be neat to try, but not in public. Absolutely not. Like, so even that thought wouldn't get me into a gym. So no, sir, I do not have a gym membership. 4 months in, I exercise 6 days out of 7 a week. Will not have a gym membership.
Yeah, a lot of people get caught up in the idea that they have to go to a gym, they have to spend big money to get healthy and fit, and a lot of people think getting coaching's big money and gym membership's big money, and by the time they look at it all, it's too much of an investment. I can't afford to do it. And you've managed to do it in like the least affordable, like the least costly way. I mean, where I haven't asked you to buy anything. You've chosen on your own to buy things.
That's really a big deal for me is when you think hire a trainer, at least I did. And if again, maybe it's because I'm in the US and I see capitalism like just everywhere. Most people sign up with a trainer and you have to buy this and you have to buy that and you have to do this. Everything that you told me that I need to do was all things that I either already had or were easily accessible, like drink more water. It was never like buy this extra thing, or it was never straight on my budget. Like the TRX was $40. You didn't ask me to buy that. I saw it. I don't even
Yeah.
remember how it happened. But I was like, do you see this? Like, this looks interesting.
Yeah.
And you were like, you could, if you wanted, like, that would be fine. We're not there yet. That was the theme of what, like, the first 6 weeks of our entire whole thing was
Yeah.
I would ask things, you're like, that's not where we are, but sure. I mean, yeah, you're ahead again. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I screwed up all your things.
Every week's
You'd have a
plan.
plan for the day, and I'd be like, nope, no, I have other questions. So that was 40. The bands were only like 25.
Yeah.
And that's my whole gym basically.
That's
I don't
cool.
have weights or anything like that. So for under $100,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not made of money. Like, I
Right.
have a very expensive car payment, and my insurance is ridiculous.
Right.
And I have rent, like,
Yeah.
and I work at a grocery store. How much do you think I make? Like,
Right.
serious, in the US of all things. Like, I make terrible money.
Okay.
So I can't afford like a ton of things, and yet I can afford this. So
Mhm.
anyone who's like, I can't afford to do that, then it doesn't matter to you.
Right.
And
Priority.
that's my honest opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And because I have found the money. Like, I still get people at work or even customers who know. I mean, I lost 40 pounds, over 40 pounds in 4 months. Like, people notice.
They
You know what I
notice.
mean? Like, that's just it's a thing. Like, I'm not bragging. It's a noticeable difference. So they'll ask, and people are still shocked that I'm still paying a trainer.
Right.
I'm like, because it's only been 4 months. What do you think I know? Like, I know more, but I don't know anything, like, still. And they don't understand why I'm paying for this information.
Mhm.
Because I wanted to die and was gonna die without paying for this information. I think it's very fair pricing. It's a little too fair, honestly, in some cases. So, like, for the amount of help that I need on a regular basis, it's a little too fair pricing. Which I'm not complaining about. I'm grateful that you're cheap. Like,
We
very
help each
helpful
other,
for me.
you know?
It's very helpful, but you could charge more, just saying. And I feel like that's a very reasonable thing for me to pay for, is living.
Mhm.
Like, I don't understand. And like, I buy protein powder and collagen and greens. You never asked me to buy those things.
Right.
Originally, you were like, you could get away with like muscle milk, and we tried that, and it was the worst experience of my whole life. So we'll never buy that stuff again.
Yeah. That was
I'm
something
not a sweets person, and oh my Lord, like, I remember the first time I made a smoothie with the muscle milk. Basically, I was like, he is out of his goddamn mind. Like, this is
It was the only thing you had
like,
access to.
It was because, especially living up here, and at the time I didn't have the car, so I couldn't just regularly get to Walmart and all of that.
Yeah.
So it was all I had, and I was like, I could not do this every day. And you're like, just add acid, and I remember just like the lime juice for like an extended period of time, just squeezing it into the blender, like, please make it better.
Please make it better.
I'm begging you. But like, we talked a little about it, and you're like, well, there is protein powder, and you're like, this is what I use. Like, again, never saying you had to, but I was like, this is horrendous, sir. What else can we do? So you showed me like what else, and I chose to buy those things. And all the things that I bought, I've come to, like, the EAAs that I don't need, as it turns out. You're like, I mean, you could. And then I bought them because I just wanted the benefit of like the electrolyte stuff that's in it.
Yeah.
So I bought the plain flavor and tried to put it in just water, and that was a terrible experience. Now we just throw that in our smoothie. And granted, you're right, I don't need it, so I won't buy it again. But I did buy it, so we're gonna use it, and it goes in our smoothie, because otherwise,
there you go.
It's horrible. Yeah. But like, all those things were like my choice because I saw something, but I didn't run right out and buy it either. I'm not an idiot most of the time. So I just came to you and was like, what do you think? And honestly, you weren't like, yes, run out and buy EAs. You were like, okay, if you want to try them, this is the kind you should look for, because it has this, and that. Like, you explained what they were and why you would want them. And you kept saying like, but I think you're probably getting enough nutrition. I was like, I just think I should make sure and try it. No.
Yeah, you're getting so much from your food that we're extracting.
And I don't really need it. I don't think it makes any difference, really. I haven't felt any difference. Like, I bought the collagen, which again was not something I read about it. I asked you about it, and you were like, yeah, you could give that a go. Well, now this is like the second month of collagen. And that thing that kept happening with my knees all the time, or my right knee in particular with squats and all that, doesn't happen anymore. So I feel there's a benefit for that. So I'll keep buying it.
There you go.
The EAs, not so much, but I did buy them, so we're going to use them now. We're just not going to buy them again.
That's it.
Unless like down the road, I'm not getting what I need and I need them. But like as of right now, we're just using it because we already paid the money. Why not
Right.
use it? You know, like so that's kind of been the thing. But you've never told me I had to buy anything to do this. Not
Mhm.
the TRX, not the bands, like none of it.
It's just been slow implementation of progress, right? Like as you keep taking the next step, there's something else you're interested in trying, and that's
And
it.
that's
So
really what it comes down to. Like I'm excited about being healthy, about being able to move and do things and get down on the floor and play with the dogs and get right back up. Like
right.
I used to make jokes all the time, and I actually made this joke the other day and then realized it is no longer valid. One of the girls, I mostly work with 20 somethings. Okay. So like they're
Okay.
very bendy. Like
Yeah.
they can do a lot of stuff.
Bendy.
And this girl, she's 22, Brianna, she's a sweetheart. She's on the floor and then she just, first of all, I couldn't do it like she did. She was like sitting crisscross applesauce. In the
Okay.
US, we're politically correct. We can't say Indian style. But
Yeah. Yeah.
and then she just stood up from that position. Like no hands, no, like she just stood up from that position. And I was like, seriously? I would still be on the floor. And then I realized, like, not necessarily. I can get up much easier now than I could. Not like that,
Yep.
but I can get. I mean, and honestly, if I tried, if I practiced, I could get up like that. I
Yeah.
do know that that's something I could train my body to do, but
Mhm.
not in this instance. Like,
Yeah.
not just because I'm 22 and I can just freaking get up that way. But I could do it. And I realized then when I made the joke that actually, no, I easily get off the floor now. I would not still be stuck down there. Like I easily get off the floor without pain, without issue, without like huffing and puffing. I just get off the floor because that's what you do.
Yeah. Your quality of life's way better, you know?
But like it did took
Love
like
that.
saying the joke
Yeah.
even realize that's not funny anymore because I can't get off the floor.
Yeah.
Like, it was only funny when I was like a baby whale and couldn't get off the floor.
Mhm.
Like, so like things like that I've noted, like things you don't really think about, and then all of a sudden it comes up and you're like, huh. Like it kind of hits you that that's not who you are anymore.
Right. Your
And so I've
identity.
had a lot of those experiences.
A lot of identity shift. Yeah.
And that's
Um,
the other thing about it, like your mind, like everything about your life changes. Better sleep.
mhm.
I didn't get up till 7 this morning, so this is a bit of a lie. But generally, I get up at 6 every morning because I want to be able to get everything in. And then this morning, for whatever reason, I just did not want to get up at 6, so I stayed in bed till 7, which is still earlier than the 10:30 I used to get up before all of this. Like that, I used to
Right.
get up at 10:30, just enough time to like get ready to go to work.
Yeah.
I didn't have any time to do anything in the morning because I was in bed. But I would stay up till 1, 2, 3 in the morning, playing a stupid game, binge watching something, eating crappy food, just and felt horrible. Now I go to bed usually by 11 the latest, sometimes 12, really depends what we're doing.
Mhm.
And then I'm up by 6 or 7 for sure the next morning, and I feel accomplished and good. And I think a lot of it is the mindset of I'm actually getting things done, so I feel satisfied.
Mhm.
And currently what I realized last night is I'm stuck in this constant like, and if you scroll any sort of social media, you'll see it. Mine's a little worse because I have US politics in mine, and we all know
Okay.
that's a shit show. But you see a lot of like, you see posts really hustle, 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 hustle. You gotta go, go, go. And then you see the post be like, you're not meant to hustle. You're supposed to relax and enjoy, like the meditation post. And so like your whole life is spent like, do I hustle? Do I relax? Do I hustle? Do I relax? And you're not really sure. And last night I was thinking about that, and I realized that like I want the balance. I want to be able to relax, but I genuinely enjoy and feel better about myself and my day if I feel I've accomplished things.
Mhm.
Like whether they're huge things, like I'm not talking about like writing a novel or, like, but just like I've gotten a bunch of things done today because I didn't just lay around or scroll on social media, which is my new thing that I'm trying to kick, is just scrolling on social media. Like that gets you can't stop it. Like sometimes I have 2 hours and I'm like, I could have done so much in that 2 hours and I didn't even
Right.
realize it was 2 hours. So I'm trying to find a happy balance between that, but I wouldn't even have recognized that I need a healthy balance without all of this. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? I wouldn't realize that I enjoy days where I'm more productive and feel better about myself on those days if I wasn't doing all this. And I realized that a lot of the reason I felt shitty before is because I wasn't accomplishing very many things by binge watching TV and,
Right.
eating stupid snacks and, finding comfort food. And
Yeah.
none of that made me feel better. But like getting up at a decent time and accomplishing many things and doing walks with the dogs and being able to get down and play with them, all of that makes me have a better day. All of that makes me feel better about myself, about my life, about the things that I want to accomplish in life. And I wouldn't know any of that without having to figure out how to eat and then, move my body because this is good for me. And like having the energy to do that. So just getting healthy is not just getting healthy physically. It's about so many more things that nobody realizes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize. And I think you said it to me like the first day and I was like, okay, settle down there. Yeah. Like, because, like I think a lot of people have this mentality of trainers, gym people, dude bros. I call
Yeah.
it dude bros.
Yeah.
Which is like, the negative annotation of whatever they are. But like you could be that guy because you're a trainer. Like
Mm-hmm.
but you actually have intelligent things to say, and you're not like just, yeah, and like, that's the dude bro is like
Yeah. Just yelling at you.
So that like I've passed by a lot of this stuff in the past because I didn't think they had anything helpful to offer because they were just screaming at me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if more people took it from like a, I guess, intellectual, like, hey, learn about this stuff kind of way, I think more people would be healthy. Like realistic. Like there's a lot of things you've said that I'm like, huh, my doctor didn't tell me that. Like, and I've seen nutritionists, dietitians, especially after my heart attack, they were like, and all they do is like print off a sheet that like has a food pyramid on it or whatever, and they're like, eat better.
Follow
And
this.
What the hell does this mean? Like, I don't even know what any of this means. We never talk about like protein or healthy fats, good fats, trans fats. Like no one, like, and if you're going to a nutritionist or dietitian, that's the information you would expect.
Right.
But I never got any of that.
Yeah.
As someone who had a heart attack, I never got any of that information. Just like a printout, eat more fruits and vegetables, drink some more water, but like not explaining anything, which you did. You explained everything, every step of the way. And I think that's for someone like me. Maybe everyone isn't like me. I need to understand the why.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you asking me to do this? Why is this going to help me? Why does that work? Like, and you explain all that. So it was very easy for me to be like, oh, well, I'm going to do that because you explained why I should do that. And it was a health benefit. So why wouldn't I do that?
Right.
But if you just tell me to do something, I'm probably going to tell you to go away because I need to know why. Like, I'm not ride or die. I have questions. This is just who I am.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And in this program and in you and like how you structure everything has made it so that I can actually understand what I'm doing and therefore make my own decisions in the process. I mean, are they always right? Probably not. I mean, I'm still new, but I feel confident enough that I'm not trashing all the progress I've made by one, maybe not perfect decision, because it's not a bad decision because I'm never choosing fast food or shitty food. I'm just choosing maybe not as good food because of the situation I'm in.
Yeah.
But I don't hate myself for making the choice because I have the knowledge. This is okay. This is why it's not going to be that healthy, but this is why it's healthier than this option here.
Mm-hmm.
And before I didn't have that, so I didn't make a decision, and then I just screw everything up. Because if you don't make a decision, you're just standing there like an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me how I know, because I do it a lot. But like, this has made it easier to make those decisions, and I'm more confident in being able to feed myself, which, as someone who almost died of a heart attack, and now maybe once a week only thinks about dying after all these years, because every day until we started this, I thought about dying.
Right.
Not like that I wanted to die.
Fearful.
I was terrified. And then we started, and even in the beginning, I would say for the first month and a half, I was still every day. And then because I kept track of my blood pressure. When I saw that it was staying like low and not all over the place, just like an even keel within like 5 points of each number. I started to feel better about that because, okay, things aren't flying all over the place. And I feel like I have some control over something now, because in the beginning they were still like way up here one time, way down here. What are you doing? Like, just calm down. And everyone has their input. Like, you should relax and you should shut up. Like, I can't relax, freaking out. But after about a month and a half, things started to like even out because I was working on eating all good stuff and not crappy stuff. And then we had all the talks about how like walking after eating, helps your blood pressure and balances out your blood sugar and all of that. So I started to understand those things more. And then I started to see it on the record keeping. And then I went to the doctor and she was very excited about all my numbers. And we came off of the second blood pressure medication. First, we cut it in half and then we came completely off of it. So now we've eliminated completely one medication. As soon as I see my cardiologist, which they keep moving the appointment because of the country I live in, is now in November, but they'll be taking me most likely off of the blood thinner. I don't need to be on that anymore. So, it will just be the lisinopril, which is the blood pressure med.
Okay.
And the atorvastatin, which is something with my good cholesterol. And we haven't discussed it that much because I'm more concerned about the blood pressure, but we'll get to that because the reason she gives me for being on atorvastatin is not a good one.
Right.
And she's like, it's not about this cholesterol, it's about this other cholesterol, but that cholesterol is good. And I'm like,
yeah.
Why? What? Like, if it's good, why do I have to? Okay. But like, I'm more concerned about the blood pressure med. So
yeah,
I'm going to focus on getting rid of that one. And then it'll just be the atorvastatin. And I can be like, can we really talk about this? Like, what is this deal? Like,
yeah.
But for the most part, the last conversation I had with her, because we communicate on the patient portal a lot instead of going for appointments.
Right.
Because insurance is ridiculous in this country. Yeah. And we talked about it and she said, no, the goal is still to have me off all my meds. We're just working on it slowly. And she honestly thinks by the end of 2026 that I won't have to be on any medications. If I just continue eating, exercising, and doing what I'm doing, there'll be no reason for me to be on any medication.
Wow.
And considering I have been on I have been prescribed blood pressure medications for many years, even before my heart attack. I didn't take them. That's why I had one. And then all of these meds after. To get off of them by the end of next year is just a huge accomplishment because I didn't really start trying, if you think about it, until May 1st of 2025. Wow. So if by the end of December of 2026, I would have eliminated 4 medications, which is a huge deal. That's like, who does that? You know what I mean? Like that's a big deal. And these are medications that everyone was pretty sure, because of how I lived my life before, I would just be on forever.
Right. Yeah, your blood
and now,
work and
like,
everything.
Even my doctor now is just like, now, by the end of next year, if this is how you're living your life, you won't need any of these.
They can see it in all your blood markers with your blood.
Everything is perfect. Like the last time we did blood work, my doctor looked me dead in the face and said, I'm jealous of all the progress you've made as to how healthy you are right now. She's like, all these numbers are absolutely perfect. And I was pre-diabetic. And I was on all the 2 heart blood pressure medications. And yet now everything's perfect. And I'm down 1 medication completely.
Wow. That's incredible, right?
It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that's a huge deal. That's getting your life back, Wow.
And I don't worry about dying constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, it still crosses my mind. But I mean, it's years of trauma of me worrying about dying. It's going to take a minute to not worry about it at all.
Yeah.
But like, I don't worry about it constantly. I don't. And sure, people make jokes like, well, yeah, but you could be hit by a bus tomorrow. Yeah. And then it's the bus's fault. It wasn't my fault. You know what I mean? Like, if I died tomorrow because of my health, it would have 100% been my fault.
Right. Because
I didn't take any activity to do anything about it. Any actions. I just let it happen. So then it would be my fault. But if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, not my fault. Like, I've done everything I can to be healthy. So at least I know that much going in. Like, one less thing that can kill me.
Yeah. The path you were on originally would have been your fault. You felt you were making all the wrong choices. Obviously, you made all the right choices to get help and invest in yourself and put yourself first. And now look where you're at. Your journey's brought you to here. So this is why these stories are so powerful, because they're just real life application, and breaking down myths and expectations of what people think might be the route they should take. And it ends up being a dead end most of the time. And then they get the right information, take the right path for them. And it takes time. It takes time to adapt and implement, So you're at this point now with your journey. We've added some exercise now. You're doing the bands and the suspension trainer, maybe even moving back towards van life as you're planning maybe in the future.
That is the hope. Of course, with the car payment and car insurance, I'm like, vans are pretty expensive. Like, we might have to wait another year. Like, that is the hope. And I can do that I've already built the van in my head, and
Yep.
I've already figured out where the treadmill's going to go because rainy days happen, and
Yep.
where the suspension trainer can go, where I can put the like I already have it planned out in my head.
It's mobile.
So
Can go with you, right?
yes, so
Yeah.
it's definitely, no matter how I want to live my life,
Mhm.
this will be a part of it. Like
Right.
living
No
this
matter what.
way, I already have it worked into it. Like it's a non-negotiable for me,
That's
which is
awesome.
wild because if
Yeah.
anyone who knew me a year ago would be like, "Who are you?" Honestly, a lot of people say that. Who are you? But
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I like who I'm becoming.
Yeah.
I like who I am versus who I was.
Mm-hmm.
It
That's
makes me feel
awesome.
good.
Yeah, we're proud to have you as a member of the team, part of our community, and surrounding yourself with more like-minded people who pull you up rather than push you down. And, it's important to have that. And I think community is a big part of it. So, the old version of you, your community was very small to non-existent. You said you were kind of living by yourself, kind of doing your own thing. You had
Yes.
a couple family members, a friend here and there, but it wasn't like you had a full community every day, sustainable, who were, right there beside you along your journey, even though it's
It
virtual,
still feels weird.
right?
Still feels weird. Like when you post, or even like if Christina posts, or even Pam. When
Yeah.
Pam's like, "You're an inspiration," I'm like, "Shit, it's weird. Stop it." Because I'm not a in your face kind of person. Like
Mhm.
I'm an introvert. I very much like to blend in. Like when I lived in the bus, people are like, "Oh, you should paint the bus." No, white. We're painting the bus white because I'd like to blend in. I don't want to
Yeah.
stand out. Like I don't want people to notice me. So like when you're all posting and being, I'm like, all right, calm down. Like it's
Yeah.
a little extra because I'm
Yeah.
not used to like positive feedback like that. It's uncomfortable, even though it's a good thing. Like
Right.
so that's taking some getting used to.
Yeah.
That it's a great community. Everyone's very helpful, but I'm always like, because
Yeah.
I'm hesitant of like people, really.
Mhm.
Like, so if
Yeah.
I'm ever weird, it's not you guys. It's definitely me. I'm working on it. Probably need therapy, but we can't afford that. So we'll just
There you
keep
go.
going to the gym here.
Yeah.
That's what we can afford.
That's awesome. So, was there anything that we missed today in your story, Gina, as we wrap up for today? I think we've heard, majority of the things I wanted to ask about anyway. Is there anything that you felt like we didn't cover that you wanted to message, let everybody know of based on the journey?
Not really. I just think that if anyone wants to change their life, if anyone wants to live longer, be healthier, this is the way to do it. Like not just, hire anybody, obviously find someone who works for you. I kind of got lucky. I didn't have to go through a bunch of different trainers to figure out what works for me. I just reached out to Pam. She told me
Yeah.
where to go.
Yeah.
And it worked out because it is very low key. You're not very much like screaming in my face, which is appreciative. Thank you.
Yeah.
But you also have like all the nutrition information, which is where I wanted to start.
Hmm.
And I think that may be misleading for people when you're like, I'm a trainer or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
yes, you are. You'll tell me how to use the TRX right and tell me how to do exercise and all of that. But moreover, like you just teach people how to live a sustainable, healthy life with food. If it's not exercise, then just walking. Like it's not as complicated as people make it. Like I've always thought it was very complicated because I've just tried to Google stuff,
Hmm.
or I didn't feel like I could afford to pay for stuff. But I'll tell you what, when it becomes life or death,
Hmm.
you find that money real fast.
Yeah. Right.
And that's the truth of it. Like it sounds kind of harsh, I'm sure, and maybe not everyone likes God on his truth, but that's who I am. And if you want to live, this is what you need to do. You need to find someone who knows what the hell they're talking about and listen to what they say and then just do it. Like, and honestly, like I can say that now because I'm 4 months in and I've actually seen it work.
Hmm.
But I'm telling anybody who's listening, it really does work. All you have to do is put in the effort. And I tell myself that every day. Like every day when I like maybe want an extra snack, and I think you're only going to get out of this what you put into it. Like
Yeah.
if you don't want that extra snack because you think it's going to hold you, but don't do it. Or
Mhm.
like the days that I'm like, oh, I don't really want to work out today. I only think that for the first until I do it, and then I'm very excited to do it. But the fact of the matter is, I tell myself, you're only going to get out of this what you put into it.
Right.
And if I don't put anything into it, I'm not getting anything out of it. And then I remind myself what I've already gotten out of it because I put stuff into it. So that's the bottom line. Like you will only get out of this what you put into it, and it's up to you. Like
That's right.
for me, it's important to live. It's important to be healthy. It's important to not just drop dead trying to live my life. So I'll put everything that I can into it. And if you're not doing that, then that's on you. It's not on your coach or the equipment or your grocery store. That is 100% on you, because there is always a way, which you have taught me, to do it healthier. There is always a way. That's what I want everyone to know.
That's awesome. What a closing statement right there. I can't even say anything after that. That's perfect. So that's awesome. I'm going to let you go from here then, Gina. And thank you so much for being here and sharing your story, being open and honest and vulnerable too, because you shared a lot about personal health and personal history. Some people don't want to, share those things, but that's what makes it so real. And I've always shared my story the same way. I think it's important that people open up and be honest with each other. And there's a lot more understanding in that. So, and connection too. I feel like I've made a friend as well as a client here who I love seeing you change your life. I love seeing you full of energy and happy and all the things you shared with us today. So genuinely, that's what matters most for me. And I'm getting to see that firsthand. I can't wait to see where you go next. We've got years ahead of us.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
It's exciting. It's amazing to see what's going to happen and what you've done in 4 months to think that that's so achievable. What would 4 years look like, And we've talked
honestly,
about
it
that.
shocks me when I think it's just been 4 months, because it feels like it's been longer. Like it just feels like I've always, obviously I have not, because I almost died, but
Yeah.
it feels like I've just always done this, or I've done it for a really, really long time.
Right.
And 4 months is not a really, really long time. It just feels it, because like I'm so used to, it's a habit now. Like I get up, I grab my watch, I go make my smoothie. Like everything is just a habit now. Like the working out, the walking, I do it. And if I don't do it, I feel like crap.
You have a lifestyle. Yeah.
So it's
Just a different one.
just natural to do it. Like once you get into it, it's all you want to do. It's just the getting to it, I think, is the hardest part.
It's amazing. People think, these people who get into fitness and health and stuff and start losing weight, they're all, hardcore about it, and they're addicted to it, and they're just becoming like that's all they want to do, all they want to talk about. But it's like it's exactly what you just said. Like it's your lifestyle. It is what you do. It is who you become, and you become a different person. That's why you look at the old person and don't identify with them anymore. Like the old version of you kind of leave them behind. And sometimes you leave friends and people who were in that lifestyle behind too, not because you wanted to, and it's nothing personal. It just becomes, that's no longer
But that
your
happens
circle.
even outside of this. Like
That's
with
right.
like
It's not just fitness, is it?
people change, people grow in different directions, and you lose. So you just grew this way and they grew that way.
Yeah.
In this case, it happens to be fitness, but that happens with or without, this in your life. So that's not a good excuse either.
I love your new attitude. I love it. It's great. And I also love your new your new t-shirt as well. You got
I
a
know.
hoodie
I love
there.
my hoodie.
You got your Precision Elite training hoodie. That looks
It's
really
so
good.
nice. I love it. It's
So
very
comfy.
Although I really only go to work, so I was like, I don't want to wear it to work. It'll get dirty. Like
Yeah, right. It's going to be an around the house type deal or walking the
when we go
dogs.
on a walk. That's when I'll show it off.
That's right. Yeah, I know it's great. Be able to see that. That's good. So yeah, everything that you're doing now and moving on from here, we're going to keep in touch. Well, obviously, I'm going to be keeping in touch with you weekly as we do our coaching. But even for the viewers who are watching this and listening to Gina's story, we will touch base on this again, because one of the things we see with people is when they lose weight and they do it in such a short period of time, like 4 months, is it sustainable? That's always our question. Can she keep that weight off? Will she continue to do these things? Or was it a crash course in, 30-day challenge type thing? And it's not. We literally build longevity through lifestyle. And I can't wait to see when we come back, even a year from now, and show you where Gina's at and how she's doing. And that's what keeps our accountability going too, is that we're part of a team and a community. So we're all excited for you.
Like if you don't have anyone check it in to see if you're still doing it, you can easily slide off the rails. Like, and so if this is important to you, that's something you want as well. Another reason to hire a trainer, because if I didn't have to check in with you every week, I might let things slip sometimes, but I'm always like, I don't want them to kick my ass. So I'm just going to do what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. And we move at a pace that's right for you. So, it's interesting to see how your pace has even changed since we began. And you've become someone who likes to track food and stuff. And that's not for everybody. And we don't expect that of everybody, but you enjoy it.
I do find it weird that people don't like that. Because like before the Fitness Pal, I was just writing it on paper, which became a little overwhelming. But I'm 50. So, writing things down is still what I go to.
Hmm.
And the MyFitnessPal, I didn't trust it first because I had a very like years and years and years ago experience with it, and nothing was really accurate. It was all users. But then we had to talk about it, and you were
Hmm.
like, but they have this green check mark thing that they do now, and that's verified, and plus the scanning
Yeah.
portion of it that makes it accurate. And I was like, all right, I'll try it then. But my concern was it wasn't accurate. And honestly, that is the only reason I'm able to keep up with tracking. And I
Hmm.
love that it literally tracks all the nutrients, not
Yeah.
just the main macros, which is all I could do with writing it down, because I
Yeah.
mean, who has that kind of time to go
Right.
to
To break
sodium
it
and
down.
everything?
Yeah.
So like it just easily tracks everything. And I love that. And I
Hmm.
hear people all the time be like, oh, I could never track my food. And I'm like, I'm literally addicted to tracking my food. Like if I
Yeah.
don't scan it, like I can't eat it. Like what are you talking about? Like everything has to go, because I love looking at it at the end of the day. Even if I went over my calories or whatever, I love looking at like how much sodium I had, and look at the protein I managed to get in today,
Hmm.
because it makes me feel like I did something right. Even
Very
if I went over my
accomplished.
calories, the other things make me feel good because
Yeah.
I hit my protein. Now I stayed under the sodium, like,
Yeah.
so I can find good things in it. Like
Right. Yeah.
I very much enjoy the tracking. I
Yeah.
think everyone should track their food, but I
Yeah.
know not everyone is me. So
It's different for everyone, but it's enjoyable for you. And that's something we always ask is, will it be sustainable? So you found something that works and it's sustainable. So that's awesome. And it works around your work schedule. What you're doing now works around where you live and the access you have to things. You've found the most simple way to get the most massive amount of success. And that's
I think the
exactly what we want.
most money I've spent, honestly, is the treadmill, which was only $108.
A little walking pad, right?
It's a lot of money. I get, but I got it because I live where winter comes in like October.
Hmm.
And like literally we've gotten snow in October. We've gotten snow in May, for God's
Right.
sake. So like I knew that my walking would be hampered
Yeah.
very early, like in the season, as opposed to some people. Although you're in Canada, I imagine you guys get snow early too.
Sometimes.
Um,
Yeah.
so I had to buy the walking pad because I refuse to give up walking.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the dogs are just going to get less walks because we aren't walking in 5 feet of snow. That's not happening. They die. Like they're not even a foot tall. So I bought the walking pad. But again, that wasn't something you asked me to buy. I
Hmm.
knew I like walking. Walking's important. I'm not going to be able to do it in 5 feet of snow. Like what are our options? So I just went on Amazon and found the cheapest one I could find. And it works fine. It's great. Like you don't have to
Yeah.
go big money. I know it's more money than some people want to spend, but again, if you're serious about it, you'll find a way.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell everyone.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
I was excited about the walking pad.
Really good. And again, we're not editing this, folks. So if you're listening to this, it's Gina and I having a conversation from the minute we got on here and the minute we're going to get off here now. It's just been real. It's been honest. And we're glad everybody joined to listen to this. And if there's parts of it you need to listen to, again, scroll back, do that. It's here for you. We'll have this available on all of our platforms as well. But I'm glad. And then Gina, you left some closing thoughts earlier that were perfect, and then we started talking again. So I'll just
I
have to
know.
go back and segment that on to the end again. It was great. Letting everybody know the message that you're leaving out there. But again, we'll touch base with your journey down the road. I think that there's going to be more to tell as you continue on this. And
I hope so.
life has all kinds of cool challenges, but they're opportunities for us to grow rather than ways of like looking at life beating you down. So instead of being that victim that you might think that you become, it's more about finding a way to grow through it and become stronger. So I'm seeing you get stronger all the time. I love it. It's exciting. You've got lots of great questions. So keep writing those questions down. We'll keep touching on them in the
I
coach.
always have a lot of questions.
Yeah, great. But that's what makes you awesome. You continue to keep a good, spirit about it all. And I love the way you bring humor to your journey as well. And that's something that I think a lot of people can relate to because we try to laugh off a lot of the things but you're starting to find that there's real truth and honesty behind all that you've achieved, and there's a good reason to laugh. You feel good about it. You're not just disguising things, so I'm excited for you. That's
Me
the
too.
most important thing I can say is it looks great on you, and I can see it in your in your smile and everybody who's here to watch and be part of this. So that's awesome. And like I say, if there's anything I missed, I want you to let us know, and maybe we even have a part 2 down the road here where we touch base again. What do you think?
Yeah, we could do a part 2 because I'll definitely still be here.
There's always something new.
We'll check in 4 months.
There you go. That sounds awesome.